Hello everyone, welcome to my Medidata Perspective channel. In today's video, we'll be looking at how to use the MySQL join. A join clause is used to combine rows from two or more tables based on a related column between them. And we have different kinds of joins in SQL. We have the inner join, left join, right join, cross join, and self join. We'll be looking at these different type of join one after the other. Okay, before we go into that, I'll be introducing you to our new data set which we'll be using, and which is called the EHR data. And this data contains various tables. We have the conditions, and we have the conditions that contains various columns of data. We have the encounter data, the immunization data, and the patient's data. So these data are all related together with various patient IDs or column IDs. So we'll be using the EHR database, the data set within this EHR data, to go ahead with our video. So let's dive right in. First of all, we'll be looking at the inner join. The inner join keyword select records that have matching values in both tables. If there are records in the table that do not have matches in the other table, those records will not be shown. The inner join return records that have matching values in both tables. The syntax for the inner join is as seen here, which is select your column name from the table, and inner join, you place in your command, which is the inner join, the name of the other table on the particular column name of each table. So let me just go ahead and copy this query so that it will be much more easy for us to look at. So the first SQL query that is being written here is a syntax for the inner join query. So you can say the select column name from your table, then you have to write the inner join with the second table name on a particular table column name which is related to both column which you want to join together. So we'll be looking at an example or a case where we can do this. So let me just go ahead and show you both tables which we'll be using. We have, you can see we have the patient table and immunization table. So this is my immunization table here, which has various columns. You can see we have the dates, patients, encounter, code, and description. So let me just go ahead and open this table. Let me run up this code. Okay, so these are immunization table where we have dates, patient ID, encounter, code, and description. So if I also go ahead and look at our patients table, run this code, you can see we also have our patient ID here, which is saved as just ID. We have patient birth date, their death date, their social security number, their driver's number, passport, first name, last name, their maiden name, marital status. So this table just contains a general information about the patient. So you can see that we have a column which is common between these two tables we want to join together. So we have the patient ID in the patient's table, which is saved as just ID, and also in the immunization table we have also a column and name patient that also contains the patient ID. So these are common column which we'll be using to join these two tables together. So what we want to do here is we want to get some of our patients information, and we want to see get their immunization data. Also want to know the description, the type of immunization or the type of vaccine they came to get in the hospital. So that's our goal for this. So first of all, we got the patient ID. So first of all, we got the patient ID because you can see you can select column names from the center. So we are getting our ID. This PT here is what we are saving our patients table. As you can see from here, we said medical record dot patient, which we can run to get our patient table. This is it, our medical record of patient. We are saving it as PT, while our medical record dot immunization will be saved as IMM. Okay, so from this our patients table, we want to get the ID, the birth date, the preface, the first name, the last name, and the patient's address. Then from the immunization table, we want to get the dates, the date they came for the immunization, and the description, what kind of immunization did they get on that day. So we want to get this column and the dates from our immunization table. And the way we'll be doing this is we'll be using the inner join to join both our patient's table and our immunizations table on our patient ID and our immunization patient ID column. So let's go ahead and run this code. So yeah, we've gotten our results here. So you can see our patient ID, the birth date of each patient, because we said we wanted to get our patient's birth date, the birth date of each patient. There are various names. So you can see we have Adelina and Trutel, and you can see the various vaccines she came for. She came for, on this particular date, she came for Epizostar vaccine, and she also took the seasonal flu vaccine on same date also. So we can see for various patients and various dates and the vaccines which they took on those various days. So this is one of the scenario where we can use the inner join, to get data from two different tables that have a common ID column that we can join on. So that's that for the inner join. So the next join we'll be looking at is the left join. The left join keywords returns all record from the left table and the matching record from the right table. So let's go back to our script file here. The syntax for the left join is simply, in place of our inner join, we can change this to left join. And what the left join technically does is it returns all the values in the left table, and looking at the right table is just going to return only values where there's a matching values with the right table also. So it's going to return all values from the left table and return only values that has matching values in the right table also. So that's what the left join is used for. So let me go ahead and copy this, and let's just place it here so that okay. I'll go ahead and reduce this a bit, and yeah. So like I said earlier, this is syntax. You can select your column name from your table 1, and the table you want to join with, you want to left join with, which is your table 2, and also you identify on what column name are you joining these tables on. So it's just same syntax with the inner join, but the difference is that for the inner join is just going to give you the records, is going to give you back her records where there are values in both this left join and where there are values in both the left table, and it has a corresponding values in the right table also. They have matching values in both table, but for the left join it's going to return all values from the left table and give you a and also give you values where there are matching values in the right table also. So this is the syntax for okay, I'll be writing an example. So let's just go through our query here. So we're also using the immunization table which we've used earlier on, and the patients table which we used earlier on, but this time around we just want to get our distinct patient values within our patient record and get their immunization date and their description also. So just like what we did for our inner join, but this time around we want to return all patients names in the left join and whether they got an immunization or not. Okay, so for the inner join it gave us patients that got an immunization. So if you look at this table which we had previously, all patients had to get an immunization because there had to be a matching value within from both tables. But when we are looking at the left join, it's going to return all patients in the patients table because the patients table is at the left side. It's at the left side of our join, which is our left table. So it's going to return all our patients and names in as much as if they got an immunization or not. So if we go ahead and run this query, okay, so if we go ahead and run this query, we would see that first of all it returns every patient's name. We asked for only distinct names, so you return each patient's name and the immunizations they got and the dates they got this immunization. So for Mrs. Hedivon, she got the seasonal flu vaccine for these various different dates. She also got the COVID vaccine, the 5 doses of TT vaccine, and etc. So you can go ahead and so these are all the record for Mrs. Hedivon. All the vaccines she has taken was shown for us. Then you can see Mrs. Angelina Trutel, which and all her vaccines which she has taken for the various vaccines which she has taken for the various dates was also shown also. So that's for the left join, and just as the left join, the right join is just the opposite of the left join because the right join is just going to return all records from the right table and the match record from the left table. So just like the previous one where the left join returns all records from the left table, but in case of the right join it returns all records from the right table and where there is a matching record with the left table also. So let me just go ahead and copy this line of code so we can see the syntax and go through the example. Okay, so for our right join, the syntax is same as the left join, just that we have to change this and the left to right. So we still can select our various column names. You identify the table name you want to join with. You specify that you are joining using the right join, and with which table you identify the other table you want to join it, and you also tell the various table which unique column are you joining these tables on. So for example, in this case we'll be looking at the patient's table, which we've seen already, and the condition table. So let me just go ahead and show you what the condition tables entails. Let me go ahead and run this code. So on our condition table, you can see we have 6 columns, where we have the start dates, where the condition started, the stop date, that's if the condition has been resolved, there's a date for it. If it hasn't been resolved, then there's no date, is a null value. We have the patient ID, the encounter ID, the code of that condition, and the description. So you can see that there's a common table, which is the patient ID, where these both tables can be joined on. So what we want to get from both tables now, we want to get the condition code, the description of that condition, and the patient's name. Okay, so that's what we want to get, and we've already specified the various columns we want to get, which are the condition code, the condition description. We also want to get the patient's name, the first name, the last name, the patient's address. Also from the medical record patients table, right join with the medical record conditions on the patient's ID with on the patient ID, and also on the conditions patient, because if you look at the conditions table, this patient ID, this column called patient, is the unique column for joining. So if we go ahead and run this table, or run this query rather, we can see it's going to give us all patient's condition. So we have educational circumstances, and we have all patients that had suffered or had this particular condition. So you can see we have other psychological or physical stress not elsewhere classified. We have Mrs. Hope and Mrs. Sarah, which had suffered from this condition. We also have unspecified sinusitis. You can see we have Mrs. Christia, Mrs. Karina. So it's going to give us a list of all the medical condition and the names of each patient that have suffered or that have fall ill of any of these various condition. Yeah, so that's for the right join. That's the way where we can use the right join. It's returning all the medical conditions which is at the right table, and giving us a list of names of each patient which have suffered from this medical condition. So let me just do a brief recap on what these joins are all about. So the inner join returns records that have matching values in both table, while the left join returns all records from the left table and the matched records from the right table. The right join returns all records from the right table and the matched record from the left table. The recap on what all the joins are all about. So you can take your time, go ahead and study the video, okay, so that you can understand better how you can make use of this join. So this brings us to the end of this class. Kindly drop your comments and questions on the comment section, as I'll be answering all questions. And also please like and subscribe to my channels, share this video if you find this interesting or helpful. Bye, and see you on our next video. Thanks for listening.